Happy Thursday, Believe Nation. It's happening. We're doing another live. I'm excited. So Thursday is my public facing day. I do hangouts and podcasts and interviews all day long. I just finished off with my Movement Makers program. That's where the people who are in my membership twice a month, I'm helping them for 85 minutes. Is it 85 minutes? No. Anyway, it's long. It's fun. We talked about influence and persuasion today. Super fun. And taking that energy from them, amazing group of people trying to build their movement, and bringing it now to you guys, and then on for the rest of the day. So today is all day. I got this, and then another IG Live, and then a phone call, then a Zoom, then an IG Live, then a podcast, then a coaching call, and then Twitch streaming later today. So I like having one day per week that I spend all day just working on super fun stuff to help build my business and move it forward. But I've got a question to bring in on this one, and I see her here in the chat. And there she is.
Hello.
Natalie in the house. I thought you were joining from the other account, so I was looking for the other one.
To change it up.
I love it. So Natalie Elizabeth Ellis in the house, founder of the Boss Babe movement. How you doing?
Hi. I'm good. Well, lucky there was just someone outside my house blasting this hilarious Spanish music. It was amazing, but not so much for 9 a.m. I had to run down. I was like, we're not doing this at 9 a.m. Turn it up. So
I love it. So I met Natalie in Puerto Rico, a couple months ago? Just before
January,
Puerto Rico?
Yeah.
January. Yeah. And we were at Brendan Burchard's mastermind event, I guess his private mastermind event. That was a ton of fun. And I loved the mission that she's on and building her Boss Babe community. So for people who aren't as familiar with Boss Babe and what you're doing, what have you built?
So Boss Babe is a community for female entrepreneurs. So it started out as an Instagram account 4 or 5 years ago and slowly just built into this incredible business. We now have over 15 million users of our hashtag Boss Babe. We have a membership, courses, we have physical products, we have licensing. So it's really just turned into this incredible community and platform where we say where women can just be unapologetically ambitious, where we will help them get those resources, those connections that they need to build their empires.
And I noticed you have your new line of clothing out with Elle as well, which is very exciting.
Yeah, there's a lot going on right now. And it launched during quarantine, and we had to create our own photo shoot, which is actually happening again today. So we're just making it work.
I love it. So I went to your website, and on the homepage, it's talking about how to build, your first $100,000 business. What are some of the key things that you feel prevent people from building that first 6 figures in their company?
So 2 things. The first thing, just getting started, honestly, and really fully going all in and committing. I see a lot of people kind of half in, half out with their businesses where they haven't really made that decision. They've got something else on the side and they're trying it out, but it's not like burn the boats. It's not going all in. So that's the first thing. And the second thing that I see a lot is people not prioritizing sales, not prioritizing revenue. And instead, if you're a VC-backed company, that's fine. But if you are solo funded and you're growing organically, prioritizing systems and prioritizing design and all of those nice to haves, I think can really hold people back, and they're constantly investing, trying to get things perfect before they then go out and make money. Whereas I think in the beginning stages, really when you're growing to your first 6 figures, it's all about proving your concept and proving that you have a product and offer that people actually want. And it's going to take time to get it right. And to get it right, you need paying customers in the door. And so I really recommend when people are in that stage, just go all in with that revenue vision and thinking about how you are going to sustain consistent revenue so that you can make it a full-time thing, so you can go all in. And when you hit that 6-figure mark and you've generally got that consistent 8K at least revenue coming in a month, it gives you a lot of freedom to play with, where you can then go back and design the logo and go back and do those nice things. But in the beginning, it's not super important.
And how did you transition? Because I think this is super interesting for people, from just having an Instagram account and posting content and inspirational and your story and all that, to then building a real business and building a real movement. And it's happened, yes, over a period of years, but it's still relatively quickly. So how did you make that transition from just being, people could look at you and say, oh, she's just an influencer talking to women entrepreneurs, to now building a sizable business as a result of it?
Yeah, so it was actually my second business. And for me, Boss Babe was that thing on the side that I was doing while I had my other business. So I had a product-based business where I was manufacturing supplements. We were in stores across the UK, shipping to over 60 countries. And it was great, but it had so many cash flow issues because with physical products, it costs so much to manufacture. You've got to always be bringing the money in first. And I remember one day I was like, I'm just going to create a recipe book. I'm going to put it up on that website and that'll help me bring more cash flow in so I'm not having to constantly reinvest. And so I did that, and I seen the power of e-products because I started making all of these sales. I had nothing to ship. Didn't have all of these big overheads. I was like, this is really interesting. So there was that part of the business that started to open me up to this industry because I had no idea that people could sell information. I just wasn't aware of it. And then on the other side, I was growing this Instagram account that was really, really taking off, and a lot of people were asking for that. And I remember the biggest thing I was facing was, it was just so lonely. I didn't really have anyone to turn to while I was trying to figure out, how to pay for these invoices, how to bring in investors and loans and all of these different things. There was just no one talking about that. And so I wanted to just start a community on Boss Babe selfishly for myself so that I would have a place to go. And so we just started really small as a small membership, and it started to grow really quickly. And it was at that point I was like, I don't want to do this on my own. Like, this is, we had a lot of followers. We were starting to make a lot of revenue. I didn't want to do it on my own. And so I met Danielle at a Brendan Burchard event, which is so amazing, a few years ago. And we just clicked right away. And she had her own business at the time. She had a brick and mortar business. She's a chiropractor. And we decided to come together and use all of our skills. So I think our backgrounds of being in product, in brick and mortar, then moving online really helped because we were able to see issues that we might come up against. And once we decided to come together, we just did that whole burn the boat strategy. We were like, this is the business we're going to go all in on. And then from there, it was really about re-educating a whole audience. So instead of just being a page or an influencer, we started to really re-educate them as to who we are, what we stand for, what they can expect, and really condition them to expect paid content from us. So it's not going to be constant free content, and there is going to be a sell at the end. And we were just really unapologetic about that. And the reception we got was amazing. Our audience were obviously craving it. And since then, we've just very much listened to what they want and pivoted in that direction. So the course we created, the planner we created, everything's been very much them telling us for so long, can you please do it? And us finally being like, yeah, we'll do it. And so that's how the business has really developed.
And what was the first thing that you started to sell? Was it the membership?
The membership was first. Right now we have a membership called The Society. It actually wasn't The Society. It was a whole different one. It was a cheaper $10 a month membership. Then we upped that to a $34 a month membership. And then we grew to multiple 6-7 figures just with that. Then we created a course. And so we did things very slowly. We didn't have multiple products. We had one product that we scaled, and then we had a course that we scaled. And then we started to bring in brands to work with because we had such a big audience with buying power, which is quite unique. So we started to bring in brand partnerships and other things like that. So we've just grown really. It looks like it's been quick, but it's been very slow in that we've focused on one thing at a time. And the planner just came out late last year. That was something that's been asked for years. And we just knew if we take our focus off of what we're doing right now, we can't keep scaling. So it's been very slow. Like there's a million and one things that I want to be doing, but I know in order to really scale properly and without overwhelm, because I'm really not available for that, it's had to have been slower.
What's the difference between your planner and Brendan's high performance planner?
It's smaller for sure. It's a lot easier to put in your handbag. And then it's just different. So Brendan's really focused on high performance and reviewing holistically. Ours is pretty much just focused on what you're going to achieve. So you have a 90-day sprint. It's very business focused. And then it's focusing on what you're going to achieve in your business each day. So quite different. Is
it morning and evening or once a day, or what's the system?
I'll show you. I actually have one. So
all right, there we go.
Here we go. So it's smaller. It's a lot more feminine.
Yeah, I love it.
You have a 90-day sprint where we always do this. I actually got this idea originally from Traction, just doing 90 days at a time. And then every day you come in, you do 3 gratefuls, 3 gratitudes, but you do them preemptively. So it's things that you haven't really got yet. So I want to sign 10 clients today, or I want to make X amount of money today. You put them in the gratitudes as if it's happened. So I am so grateful that I locked in 3 new clients today. Then you do 3 top goals, and then you list out your to-dos, you tick them off, and then that's it. And there's like a little system in where it's done, delay, delegate, delete. But it's really simple. It's just a few things every day. And then also there's a notebook page, because one thing that we were really struggling with was having to fit planners and notebooks into our bags at the same time. That's really heavy. And we would want both because the planner isn't a good notebook. So it'd be really heavy. That's the first thing. And then secondly, you'd be in a meeting, because I still love to write paper notes, especially if I'm going to different people's offices. You'd write notes down, and then you'd come to find them again. You can't see them. And so with the planner, say you had a meeting last Thursday, you open it up, it's a notebook as well, so you can see what notes you wrote last Thursday. So it really was all about the handbag initially. We were like, how do we just create something that just is really easy and actually effective? Because sometimes the really cute, girly planners are not so effective. So it's amazing. I love it.
So how do you decide what the next 90-day sprint should be?
So for us, when we begin the beginning of the year, I love paper. You can't tell. We get a massive like whiteboard or a sheet of paper, and we divide it into 4 quarters. And we just start to brainstorm, what are the big things we want to be achieving in that month? So is it a big event? Is it a product launch? What does that look like? And we start to just put that in the different quadrants, and we'll step back and take a look and see, is this getting us where we want to be in 3 years? Is this going to really help us move the needle? If so, we start to put different dates on that, because what can often happen is at the beginning of the year, you have all of these grand ideas of, I'm going to launch all these products, I'm going to do these different things. Whereas when you see it right in front of you, you realize there is no way I'm going to get all of those things done. Like I remember when I first started, I was like, I'm going to create an app, I'm going to redesign the website, I'm going to launch a product all in Q1. It's just not going to happen. And so we would start to map it out like that and make sure we were not trying to do too many things at once. And then we just leave it there. We didn't go into granular detail of each quarter. And at the beginning of each quarter, we go through the traction exercise where you think about, like, what are the big milestones you want to work towards? So it might be launching a product, and then what are they're called rocks underneath that. So what are the rocks that are going to help you get there? So those are needle moving activities that take more than 2 weeks. We write down the rocks and then we find owners for them. So one thing that's been really instrumental for us scaling is making sure that all of these rocks or milestones have owners, and those owners aren't me or Danielle, because we can become bottlenecks. And if we're too involved in all of these different things, we can't pull out and actually scale and grow and think about Q2, Q3, Q4. So we make sure they have owners, and then we host a meeting with our team and we walk through all of that. And we try and make it pretty collaborative as well, because they have ideas that we haven't even thought about. So building a team's been really instrumental into actually being able to plan in this way.
If you're at the beginning and you may not, I mean, things change so much at the very beginning of a business, how would you recommend, like, what if you're halfway through a 90-day sprint and then realize, oh, I don't actually want to be doing this, I found something else? Do you just stick it out because you said 90 days? Do you pivot? What's your recommendation for people?
I would pivot. I think in the beginning stages of a business, sometimes you're really led by opportunity, in that you set out in the next 90 days, I'm going to achieve X, Y, Z. But then like certain opportunities come your way and you're like, that actually would really help me get somewhere, and that feels really aligned. Or a client wants to come work with you, even though you didn't ever think you'd want to work with this kind of person, but the offer they make you is like, wow, I actually think I would enjoy that. And so I think in the beginning, it's all about giving yourself space to breathe, but making sure you're moving forward and not backwards. So not about in, 30 days, you're like, this is a lot of work, I don't know that I want to be doing this. Are you wanting to pivot because it's, you want to give up, you want to go backwards? Or are you pivoting because something's come along that actually is going to give you a leap in your business? Because in the beginning, I remember for me, nothing was so structured. It was very much just, I was focused on putting one foot in front of the other. And I had these visions, but I didn't really know how I was going to get there. I didn't know what my master plan was. And I think that really served me, because I was willing to just not know what I didn't know. I think that's really important. So I would say, if you're really early stage, just like figuring out how you're going to get that regular income, be okay with pivoting and be okay with changing. Just have those big non-negotiables up there when maybe that's your revenue goals. Maybe that's making traction in a certain way, and the rest of it you're open to figuring out.
So do you recommend still doing a 90-day plan and just be willing to pivot, or do you just say, I don't know, you have your goals and be open to opportunity?
I like having a plan. I think that really does work. I would really recommend setting, say, 3 things that you really want to achieve, like 3 big goals that you want to achieve in 90 days, and then think about maybe 2 rocks underneath each one of those. So maybe one of the goals is launch a new course. The 2 rocks under that is create the content for it and like put it, like build a platform, whatever that looks like. Or another big goal is hit 100K in revenue, or if you're early stage, hit 10K in revenue, and then how you're going to do that, map that out. So just have 3 top level goals, and that's a plan. That in itself is a plan, because one of the biggest things I see really trip people up is they wake up not knowing what to do in their business. So they wake up feeling lost, they don't have clarity, they don't have direction. And that is, and I will say, like, being in the early stages of your business is often one of the hardest stages, because you're not really getting that instant gratification for things you're doing. You might be laying all the groundwork, but you're not seeing the revenue, you're not seeing the clients, and not having that instant gratification is really difficult. And if you're waking up and you're not really sure what to work on, you'll end up procrastinating. So then you'll tell yourself you're not good enough, you'll have all of this negative self-talk, so then you're going to wake up not feeling motivated, and it really is this loop. Tell me in the comments if you can relate to this loop, because I feel like a lot of people can. I know I can. Let us know. And so I think having a plan can get you out of that, because you wake up and you know what you're working towards. And so even if you're just doing one thing a day that's helping you move slowly towards that thing, then that's a win.
What do you think is unique to women entrepreneurs, boss babe entrepreneurs, that men either don't go through or just is different?
I think for women entrepreneurs, I know men go through this, but I think it's more amplified with women. It's confidence. A lot of women really struggle with the confidence to go out there and create their own businesses. And I see that way more in female entrepreneurs than I see in male entrepreneurs, which is crazy. I'm seeing a lot of, yeah, I relate. That's a big thing. And that's been one of the #1 things that we've worked on with the women in our community, is laying that foundation. Are you in Newcastle? No, but I'm from Newcastle, and I'm really impressed that that person knows that from my accent. So that's a big thing. And then the second thing I would say, and especially probably right now, but I don't personally have children, but I see a lot of women who have maybe been stay-at-home moms, or have maybe not had a career in a while, that are wanting to start businesses, and they have a lot to juggle, and they are doing a lot of that. I see that a lot. And so a lot of the clients I work with will be mums, and they will say to me, I have 3 hours a day to get this done, because I've got all this other stuff to do in between, and their husbands are at work and they're the ones looking after kids. And I see that a lot. So I think that's also a big challenge, but I know men also do have to deal with that, because those roles are changing. I have children running 3 businesses. Yeah, it's definitely something that I would say, those 2 things, the confidence and that balance element. And I don't love to talk about balance, because I hate when women get asked, how would you balance it all? It's so stereotypical, and it's really true. Women are balancing a lot, and I know those roles are changing, which I'm really, really pleased about. But it is a lot. And I think about when I want to have kids in a couple of years' time, my life needs to look really different. I need to put those things in place. My husband isn't thinking about that stuff. I know fine well he isn't. And he's just happy running his business. And when kids come along, you'll be like, wow, we have kids. For me, I have to really think about that. How do I run a business while I'm pregnant? How do I run a business when I'm breastfeeding? How do I do all those things? And so I'm constantly like, that's in my mind, because I want to have kids in the next couple of years. And so it's different.
So step 1, what would, if you have a mom entrepreneur or future boss babe who wants to start a business, doesn't have a lot of time, is lacking in self-confidence, what's step 1 to building the confidence to believe that they could actually do this?
So I think one thing that really helps build confidence, especially in career and business, is following through on what you say you're going to do. Because if you tell yourself you're going to work out twice a week and you never work out, at the end of the week, you're going to look back and be like, I failed at this. I'm just not good at it. And when you break promises to yourself consistently, that self-talk really comes in, and you're essentially proving to yourself that you're not consistent and you're not keeping up with what your promises are. So I think the first step is really really having follow through with what you say you're going to do. That's a really big thing. Secondly, I think doing the foundational work of, like, we all have personal development work to do, and we all have these like limiting beliefs of I'm not good enough and I'm not worthy. We all have them. I don't care who we are, we all have them. And I think entrepreneurship is a big ride of self-development. Like, it will really, your business will show you who you are and what your limiting beliefs are. And the earlier you can address those, the better. I've worked with a lot of women that have had certain beliefs around money and just haven't even known that they had those beliefs, and were completely getting in their own way with procrastination and everything. And I always say that procrastination really isn't your fault. There's something else in your subconscious that is stopping you from getting that done. So go do the work, go do some personal development work. You know, there are so many thought leaders online, Brendan being one of them. There are a lot of people online that are helping you dive into that personal development work, reading books on it. So being willing to take a real hard look at yourself and assess what it is that's going to keep you stuck.
I love it. Now part of my mission has become to get Natalie on YouTube.
I'm doing it.
Are you?
Yeah.
Are you making content? I was on today. I saw the thing about PvP.
It's not live.
Okay.
Yes.
This is great.
Yes, I'm actually doing it. I've literally, like, look, I mean, I'm not kidding. Look, I've got some equipment. You're going to be so proud.
I love this.
Equipment going.
What?
Yeah, I'm like setting everything up. I'm getting a little filming corner of my house, and the content should kick off filming in 2 weeks. And I'm probably going to film for a couple of weeks. I've got enough. And it's going to be weekly. I'm doing it.
I love it. Now, what is it? Is it coaching? Is it just talking to the camera, or what?
Yeah, so it's going to be kind of a mix. So in the beginning, I'm going to do a series on how to grow Instagram, because apparently that's really good content to grow with. So I'm going to do a series around that. So I'll be doing some talking to camera. I'll be doing some where I'm sharing my screen and just showing how to do certain things. And that's kind of as far as I've got. I've got my next 8 videos planned out. So I might tap you on the shoulder and ask if I'm doing it the right way.
I'm happy to. I'm happy to.
I'm doing it. You really convinced me.
One of the things I struggle with the most is fighting with my team to get more women entrepreneur content on the channel, because there's not enough. I think it's back to the confidence issue. There's not enough women making long form YouTube content who have had success as an entrepreneur, right? There's a few, but not a lot of consistent. If you started with Instagram and you did like an 8-part series, like part 1 is this, and part 2 is this, and part 3, that all leads to each other. And then you end with 1 or 2 coaching sessions of taking some of your students and then coaching them live on there, or like a Zoom call. Yeah. Do a breakdown, like either they pay to get it, or it's just like, hey, thank you so much for being a part of our community. You get to get 15 minutes with Natalie to break down your Instagram, and then that becomes a video of, again, just showing how great you are, but also like massive value, right? So it's not just your account, it's live coaching on. It would take off. And it's back to your roots. Like your original videos on YouTube were about Instagram.
Way back when. I was like a baby. All my YouTube videos, I was so young.
Yeah. All right, I'm so excited it's happening. Definitely hit me up.
You convinced me.
I'm happy to help get it off the ground. Amazing. Yes. Woo.
I know.
Okay.
I mean, I'm really excited to do it so that I can then get other women on, because I know all the challenges that I'm facing doing it. One of them being the tech. The tech has been so overwhelming to me, but I'm getting there, and I really wanted to learn it for myself and like all of that. And so I'm going to be teaching all of that, and that'll become some of my videos. But I think you're totally right. There needs to be more women on there, but it can be so overwhelming to get started. Instagram's easy. You just pull out your phone and start talking.
Yeah. Well, and even I would lower the production quality, because the quality is really your ideas, what's in your head. That's the quality more than how fancy the images are or anything else. And especially like you would just crush the coaching of bring a woman on, do a Zoom call together, have her tell you her problems, help her with her Instagram. And there's also, you're going to just naturally infuse personal development inside of it. Like the reason why she's not posting on Instagram is because she doesn't have enough confidence, and you're going to help her through like, it's just, you'll crush it. You'll crush it.
And you think those Zoom calls are not too low quality? They're good for YouTube?
As long as the internet connection is decent, You can do it. Even this, like right now, Gary Vee and a bunch of people are just taking Instagram live videos and we're like this, and they just rotate it to be like this and like cut it in half and post it as a video.
Oh my God.
Because it's still the quality of the knowledge more than the editing, right? If you were a video editor and that was your business, then yeah, 1,000%. But you're teaching people how to get what's out of your head into theirs. That's the most important thing. Yeah.
I love it. Okay.
All right, cool. Well, it's crazy how quickly time flies. I'm pumped for the YouTube channel, but if people watching, they want to learn more about you, dive into your world, where do you want them to go next?
So they can follow us on the account I'm at now, bossfit.inc, or my personal account at I am Natalie. It's the best place.
I love it. Natalie, thank you so much for the time. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks
Appreciate
for having
you.
me.
All
Bye.
right, take care.